What's up guys, this is the Redstone Scientist, and today I'm unveiling a new project that I've been working on for quite some time, the Minecraft Studio. Now before I begin, I want to start by saying that this whole concept was based off of a video by @thefoxdoesredstone of a customizable color TV screen. I'll post a link in the video description. So I was playing around a lot with the Fox's map, and I realized that while it was a gorgeously crafted and excellent map, it was very limited. For example, the screen was not nearly big enough to write intelligible text, and the user interface was unclear unless you watched the Fox's how-to video. So I decided to take the basic concepts and mechanics to create a brand new movie studio with the goal of making it as easy to use as possible. Now, if you see anything you don't like here or something that is confusing to you, please let me know, and don't worry, there will be updates in the future. If you haven't noticed already, this improved studio comes at the cost of frames per second, or FPS. There's an absolutely huge amount of lag. This makes it a little impractical at the moment. However, I will be releasing updates in the future that make all the mechanics far less demanding and make the whole thing run much more smoothly. So without further ado, let's take a look at my studio. We'll start by actually walking into the theater. As you can see, there's some suggestions for optimal settings and, hold on, little bits of info you should know. I actually did quite a lot of work on the theater space itself, but I'll remind you that I'm not a very good builder when it comes to aesthetics. I'm really a more redstone-oriented player. As you can see, the screen is much larger. I also labeled some of the seats which show you the optimal places for viewing. Like right here you can see VIP optimal seats and reserve seating. Actually, the last few rows in the back are really for decoration, since the chunks that the screen is in don't load properly back there. When you're ready to start the movie, you just click on where it says click here in the chat. So let's take a look at what I've got. You may want to turn your sound down a little bit. So the lights come back on. Now the studio runs at 20 frames per second, or ticks per second as the case may be, due to the lag. In other words, although the frames are moving at 20 ticks per second, or frames per second, it's limited to your client's frames per second. Now for me, I usually run around 100, 130 to 160 frames per second on a non-Redstone world, and I usually drop between 10 to 15 frames per second while watching a movie. Of course, that's lower when I'm recording. Well, once again, there will be a lag update in the future, I promise. So as you can see, when we start the movie, all the lights go out and the screen lights up. A sort of mock silence your cell phone ad will automatically play at the beginning of every movie. Now there is an option to turn the feature on and off, but we'll get to the UI in just a minute. And as of now, the studio is equipped for about 45 seconds of film. In future updates, I will probably be increasing that capacity. So 35 seconds later, the movie will end, the screen will go dark again, and the lights will come on. So that's all you need to know about the theater itself. Now let's move on to what this project is really all about, how we can actually make movies. As you can see, all of that lag is definitely justified by not all of the redstone, it's really all the command blocks. So first let's go over here and push this button to erase the current movie. Oh, and for the sake of recording, and actually for the sake of making movies, we're going to lower our render distance down to 5 chunks, because we really don't need to see any more of that, and it also reduces our lag. So let's start with what in the world we're looking at here. Well, this huge area here, this white area here, is for each of your frames. This is actually what appears on the screen. Now, the smaller area here is for sound, but it can be used for any kind of command you want to execute. This is the green area right here. So let's start by running through all of the included functions. The first one we'll look at is the black screen, which obviously just fills the current frame with black wool, which is the screen's default. So let's just go over here to any random frame, and we will push the black screen button. We'll push the button, and as you can see, the black screen appears, which is the screen's default. Next is the duplicate previous frame, which will obviously duplicate the previous frame. This is a mandatory feature for obvious reasons, so let's build something random here. This is obviously not a real design, it's just for the sake of demonstration. So now we could go over to the duplicate previous frame button, and that's right there, and we'll push this button, and it will automatically duplicate the previous frame. And for anybody who's ever done animations before, you know how absolutely mandatory this feature is. Alright, next is the clipboard function. This lets you have a copy and paste function. If you push this button over here, it will copy the current frame to the clipboard, and then we'll go over to another frame over here. This could be anywhere. Let's just say this frame. And we're going to push paste current frame, and it will paste the frame. By the way, push the different colors are just to help you figure out what frame you're looking at. So now the frame has automatically been pasted from the clipboard. So that works. Alright, next is the edit button. So as you can see, when we have many frames in a row, it can become difficult when you need to make changes to a previous frame or see which frame is which. That's where the edit button comes in. It eventually becomes one big stack. So if you push the edit button, it will lift the current frame out of the stack, so you can easily focus on that one frame, as you can see. So it's sort of like a deck of cards, and it lifts it up, and you can edit it from right here. And then all you have to do is push the Finish Editing button, which is over here, and it will just put it back down in the stack with all of your changes saved. I'm explaining all the features at once, so it seems a little more complicated than it actually is. So there we go. Put your frame back down into the stack, which is incredibly useful to when you have a bunch of frames. And here is the very important clear frame function. So let's say we want to erase these 3 frames. All we have to do is push these 3 clear buttons. 1, 2, 3. I actually don't think that first one was right. Okay, yeah, we didn't push this one. And that will clear all of those 3 frames. We're not done yet, though. Those were just the basic and common functions. To browse more options, just push the Options button at the top of your current frame. So let's go over to any random frame over here. And as you can see, a pig will appear named Options, which is used as a marker for various commands. And this menu will pop up. Now, one important thing to remember is that whatever frame you build, you will be actually seeing from the other side because the screen is facing the other direction. So, in other words, you will see a mirror image of it. So, for example, let's say I write the word hi. Well, it looks fine from my perspective, the builder's perspective, but when the movie plays, we're actually looking at it from this side, so it appears backwards. And that could cause some problems. But luckily, I have an easy fix for this. So let's go back to the Options menu. As you can see, we have a mirror frame option. This works incredibly quickly. So all we have to do is push the click this button, and voila! The frame has instantly, well, almost instantly, been mirrored. However, mirroring that one frame might confuse you if you need to duplicate it to the next frame or continue building. That's actually not a problem either. You can build your entire movie first and finish it, and then starting from whatever frame you want, you can click the Mirror Remaining Frames option, which will automatically mirror all frames from the selected frame to the end of your movie. This will take quite a while, but it even says it there. But I promise you it will be faster in future updates. Now, you probably don't want to leave the pig alone just in case it unloads. Some of it is outside the spawn chunks, but most of it is in the spawn chunks. In future updates, I will probably be able to condense most of it into the spawn chunks. And like I said, this process will be a lot faster in future updates. Anyway, let's exit the editing area, which will automatically terminate any operations. And let's go to the next feature, which is a sub-menu called Colored Screens. So let's go to another random frame like this one over here. And this is, we'll push the Colored Screens button, and this is the same as the black screen function, except you could choose any other wool color to fill the screen with. By the way, Telraw does not support the brown color, which is why brown is written in black. So we can push any of these buttons, let's say pink, and it will automatically fill our 558 block size screen with pink wool. And we could choose another one, like light blue. So that's how the Colored Screen button works. You could have all the different colors of wool, and it will automatically fill. So the next function will work on any frame. This is the Toggle Cell Phone Intro button. As you can see, clicking this will toggle on or off a silence your cell phone advertisement that will preface any movie you make. So if you click it, it will say toggled off, and if you click it again, it will say toggled on, and so on forth. Now we have a cancel or terminate function. Clicking this will kill any other entities other than the player. This means that if you're in the middle of using the mirror all remaining frames function, the remainder of the operation will be canceled. Now, like I said, it takes a while, so pushing that will instantly terminate it if you don't want to let it finish. Now, if you want to use another option from the options menu, you have to push the options button again, because the pig must be present for any of the options to work. That's an easy thing to remember. We also have the Return to Theater button, which I saved for the end for obvious reasons. Pushing it will put you back to the entrance of the theater. And there are other little helpful things included, like automatic cancellation, night vision, etc., etc. All these little things that happen behind the scenes that will help optimize your studio use. But there's not nearly enough time to cover those in this video. So that's about it for the studio, guys. I put the latest World Save download in the description, and I really, really want some feedback on this project. Any suggestions, new features, or anything you guys want to throw at me. I'm also going to need some good note block or command block songs for the music library feature in an upcoming studio update. So please send me your best note block or play sound creations, and if I like it, I'll put it in the music library and credit you guys as the artist. So that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.